explain. Oh, thank you for that. I had to turn my ear off. Something it's hard to really explain, right, unless you truly experience it. But what I had noticed was when I came back into my body, I started getting a voice. I started getting this kind of guidance, higher self, source, God, whatever name you want to give it. And the first things that started coming into my reality was holistic health. It was, plant-based foods, plant-based medicines, natural healing, really CBD, chlorophyll, vibration therapy, all that. But the one thing that really stood out was a man named Dr. Sebi. And I was like, I don't even know how that man's name came into my reality January 2018 when I started connecting these dots. And I got curious and I looked him up, and that was it. That was it for me in terms of my future going forward of how I'm going to take care of myself. So Dr. Sebi was kind of the first pioneer, and I've learned from so many over the course of the last couple of years. Dr. Sebi, Arnold Ehret, Dr. Robert Morse, Bernard Jensen. I mean, the list keeps going on and on and on. But with Dr. Sebi, it's interesting. I don't know if you guys know his story. He actually, quote unquote, was curing people. He was helping people, and some of the most intense disease of AIDS and cancer and all this stuff. And he continually got arrested. He continually getting locked up. He actually, guys, he went into court. I believe a Chicago courthouse or New York, I forget where it was, and he proved with proof that he actually could cure people, and that the FDA and that the other things, the pharmaceutical industry was actually hurting people. And that's when I started waking up to certain things, because 4 months later, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. And it was interesting, the timing of it all. And I'm going to share more and more of this as I continue to go on in this journey of mine with you guys. But I had woken up to the fact that, wait a minute, certain things have been suppressed for a long time. And I came across some stuff this morning, just with everything going on, that, here in California, it's interesting, and don't quote me on this. I've got to double check, triple check, forecheck. Remember, I check everything before I share. But if you're a doctor and you practice medicine, it's against the law to recommend holistic options. You're not allowed to. But yet they've sworn an oath to help heal and treat the sick. But yet they can't share what can help because it's going to take away their license. So talk about a pickle, right? Talk about a bind that you want to help people, but yet the very things that can help them, they can't share. So Dr. Sebi was exposing this. Dr. Sebi was talking about this, and he focused on electrical living food. And that is part of the holistic tree of getting back to our DNA, our original state of being, the things from the earth, nature, and herbs, where the pharmaceutical industry, that kind of taken on a whole turn of events. If you guys didn't know, in 1910. Does anybody know what happened in 1910? Okay, if you don't know, it's all good. I didn't know either. There's actually a man called, Andrew Carnegie, but the Flexner Report of 1910. And this was instigated by the Rockefellers, who had basically wanted to wipe out holistic medicine. They wanted to usher in a petroleum-based pharmaceutical industry, an industrial age, where we've now taken the extracts and the herbs and the roots of some of the most indigenous, powerful healing medicines on the planet, including cannabis, including psilocybin, including ayahuasca, and all these different compounds, right, around the world, and they flipped it and they manufactured it into a pill. And a lot of these pills come from China, and this is the cabal China-based communist actions that had infiltrated our medical world. And 1910, what they started doing, they went around to universities, they went around to hospitals, and they started outlawing holistic practices. They outlawed energetic healing. They got rid of vibrational therapy. They got rid of anything Tesla tech-wise. They got rid of any kind of medicine and properties and recommendation that has to do, that's all natural. And that was the end of holistic medicine. Cannabis itself was actually one of the strongest and most used medicines before this Flexner Report came about. And that's a whole other topic of how that just got distorted and what happened. So when you have these people who have lots of money in the Rockefeller system, who have taken over our pharmaceutical, our medical industry, but have also taken over our education system, they've taken over the education system, and they have told what history should teach, what nutrition we should have, how we should live, what courses we have to take, why we need a degree, why you need certain academic ratio, how a IQ test or a SAT test determines how smart you are, all to keep us in a nation of workers, not thinkers. That's the biggest thing. Rockefeller wanted a nation of workers instead of a nation of thinkers, because they knew that when we tapped into our divine gifts, like I talked about last night, we're very powerful people. We're very powerful people, and you're remembering this now. That's why you're watching this here with me. And so with this 1910 Flexner Report, they started outlawing all this. They started getting rid of natural cures. They started getting holistic medicine, and they started ushering toxic cures, chemotherapy, pharmaceuticals, different, radiation, slicing and cutting. Now, here's the thing though, don't get me wrong. Emergency medicine, right? Amputations, surgeries, lacerations and wound healing. We have some of the best in the world. That's no question about it. I'm not saying if you get in a car accident, go sit in a Epsom salt bath and it'll heal your broken bone. Get to the hospital, get taken care of. But when it comes to lifestyle, when it comes from disease, when it comes from poor choices or lack of awareness and education, now we are flipping that right now. It's flipping, and you probably lately wanted to drink more water. Well, lately you've probably been wanting to breathe more. Maybe you're thinking about fasting or intermittent fasting. Maybe you thought about getting out in nature. Maybe you thought about changing your diet up a little bit, getting away from the standard American death diet, the sad diet, the very sad diet. Maybe you've explored possibly plant-based. I'm not saying go vegan. I'm not saying go plant-based. You do what you want. I love you unconditionally. I'll tell you that for sure. All right, because you have that power to transmute anything. I choose plant-based because of how it's made me feel and the research I've done. And I don't want to kill an animal, and any way I can help the environment. That's just me, right? So whatever these choices are coming up, sit with them, feel them. And if you don't know, research about them, question them. And that's what Dr. Sebi started in me in January 2018. He ignited a flame in me, a spark. And the moment I heard him say, we are electrical beings, we live off electrical foods, to drink electrical water, our muscles cannot move without electricity, our nerves can't fire. Me talking, my brain's got to send an electrical signal in my nervous system, into my bloodstream, right? Electricity is held in a conduit of water, right? Even you moving or tapping the screen or waving hello, that is an electrical impulse. You are electrical beings, but yet why are we eating non-electrical foods? Why are we drinking non-electrical water? Well, guess what? We've been programmed to think water and electricity is scary. The moment we were born, don't put a blow dryer in the bathtub. Now, I'm not saying go do that. I'm just saying look at the fear of electricity and water. So when it comes into our reality, it questions our belief systems. Now, herbs, for example, they're highly electrical, highly mineral dense, highly structured, right? Highly structured. And they fill in little gaps in your system. Remember, we're like a big puzzle piece. As we age, as we get sick with our inflammation and our acid and our stress, even fitness, right? Certain pieces of our puzzles fall off. It's up to us to put the puzzle pieces back with building blocks, with materials to build. We don't just keep waiting for our house to break down over and over before we start building it. No, a window breaks, we fix it right away. But in our bodies, a window breaks and we just cover it up or numb it. No more. No more. It's time to take our power back. It's time to look at potential holistic, natural ways of living. Getting back to connection with Source, getting back to connected with God, but back to connected with you. Back to origin. That's why the water I drink, the name for the water I drink means return to origin. It's highly electrical, full of minerals and structure that helps my body stay in balance and in homeostasis. Same with the foods you eat. Is the food you're eating highly electrical? Does it produce living biophotons, or what's called angstroms, right? Borac values, antioxidation potentials, phytonutrients, enzymes. You don't hear many mainstream nutritionists talk about this. Why? Because of how powerful it is. But guess who did? Dr. Sebi. He started this and he sparked it in me, and that's my journey into my diet change. And it changed my life, and I haven't gone back since, and I never will. I don't know how. And so what has happened now is over the years, this notion of medicine, right? This notion of what it means to treat people, right? With a Band-Aid, Or just like a, hey, let's cover that up with a little pill here. Let's not go deeper because I don't want to lose my license kind of deal. Well, hold on. What's the root? We talk about a tree, right? It's not so much the tree is dying and the leaves are brown, right? We try to cut the leaves off, but did you notice that your roots are rotting? Your root canal that you got is rotting, right? The parasites in you, they're wreaking havoc on your root chakra. They're eating up your prostate. The root things, that's where it's at, but we don't go that deep. Holistic, you do go that deep. You can go that deep too. You can go deep enough if you want to, right? Going deep into the ocean, right? Everything's inside of you. Did you know that the same minerals and salts that are in the ocean are in your bloodstream? Or that the trees that are around us are the same things that are in your lungs, filtering your air? It's pretty amazing when you realize nature outside of you is nature inside of you. And you connect that dot, and it just makes so much sense. But here's the thing, millions are not aware. So I want to let you guys know, if any of you have this knowledge, any of you have this awareness, have done the research, please share it now. Share it now. You're going to get things of projections. I'm giving you a heads up. You're not going to get everyone to agree with you, and that's okay. Love them unconditionally. And the best way to handle it is thank you for sharing your truth. I see you. Totally respect where you're at. Your truth matters to me. And this is what I'm doing. And if you want to have an open convo, I'm open to it. If not, I love you, man. I love you. That's how you meet it. That's how you meet projection and resistance. And that's how I've learned over the years how to take something that can be empowering, impactful, but meet it with grace, love, and gratitude. There's nothing weak about that. That's true strength at the end of it. That's the root of it all, that true strength within you. Speak your truth now more than ever, because we're not going back. There's no backwards. There's no back to normal. We are creating the new normal. And that creation of the new normal starts with you. It doesn't start with your TV shows or your talk show hosts or your Dr. Oz. It doesn't start with them. Not at all. They're a reflection of the collective. But it starts with you. Whether it is saying no to certain, alcoholic beverages or sodas, as tempting as it is. Enjoy your glass of wine. Absolutely. Do what you want. But the little things, right? Getting away from the soda, getting away from maybe the fried foods a little bit less. Take your time. Be patient. Go at your pace. It's not a race and it's not a rush. It really isn't. Go at your pace. And be mindful, guys, if you are caught comparing, right? Be mindful if you are caught comparing, oh, my diet's not perfect, like to that person. Oh, this. No, you never will be. You can never keep up with someone else, and you can't control someone else. I'm breaking that for you right now, and say it out loud. I am no longer comparing myself, because that's the very thing that's kept me back from realizing how powerful I am at the core of it all, that root within you guys. And as you wake up to these things, you're going to notice that more and more healing potential is out there, right? Sound healing, check that out. Grounding, check that out. Float tanks, check that out. Lymphatic massages, check that out. Its healing is there. If you're constantly getting sick, if you're getting allergies, if you're getting the common cold, if you're afraid of the coronavirus, if you've got some autoimmune disorders, I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. But energy and healing is all around you. It's in your glass, it's on your plate, it's in the air, it's in the ocean, it's in nature, it's in vibration, it's in sound, it's in meditation, it's in stillness. It's right there. It's right there, and I want to remind you guys that so much, because I know I shared the holistic healing web the other day, or yesterday, and so many of you messaged me like, this is amazing. It is. That's where we are headed, and that's where we are now. That's where we are going now. All of these things, all of these natural cures are going to be released. In fact, they're already being released. If you really pay attention and follow non-mainstream media, there are people healing around the world from very tough things in the reality. So to take this into kind of putting it all together and understanding that you have the ability to, in fact, take your power back. You have the ability to hydrate at a cellular level, to eat living food that is electrical, to fire your nervous system, to get your blood cleaning, to clean out your gut, to reset the nervous system, to clear out your endocrine system, which, if you guys didn't know, it's your chakra system. Okay, spiritual or not, that doesn't matter. It's all connected. You are the most intricate, elaborate, divinely created mechanism, machine, spirit, and soul that this universe has put together. And wow, we're waking up to this after millions of years. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. And now you're learning these gifts. And if you're on this with me and you're watching this and you know some of these things, I'm not calling you out. I'm just divinely remembering and guiding you to remember that you are here for a reason, and you're here to usher in this new way of living, whether you know one thing or 1,000 things or know nothing. Speak that truth. Love others unconditionally. Meet rejection with gratitude. Hey, thank you for sharing your truth. I hear you. That will deflate all of your conversations that you have. Whether you're butting heads with somebody, no one understands the holistic route yet, they're still stuck on the pharmaceuticals, meet them with love. Ask questions. Ask those questions. Hey, do you think this is the best thing for you? Honestly, like, no judgment. I want to hear your thoughts. So many people, guys, get so scared. They get so scared when they become ill, when a doctor says you have 3 months to live, when, oh, you're going to be on meds your whole life. That is the business model we've got to wake up to. That's the business model we have to wake up to now, because I'm sure some of you know someone who are stuck in that business scam. It's the biggest scam in the world. We talk about everyone hates multi-level marketing. It's a pyramid scheme, but yet we point our fingers at all the things that are actually helping people, yet the very thing that's hurting people, we stay quiet. Why? Because we're afraid what other people will think. We're afraid that if we mention that, hey, maybe a herbal tea could help better than that Tylenol every single day. Don't tell me what to this. You got to keep grounded. Stay grounded, stay grounded, stay grounded. You're here for a reason, and you have these gifts to share. So again, to connect it all, take your power back. Try little things, holistic ways of living, getting back to nature, getting back to origin, getting back to source, tapping back into that inner knowledge that you have. You have it all. All of you have it right now. You just got to cut some cords a little bit. You got to take some deep breaths. You got to know, okay, gosh, maybe you don't know anything about my body. Some of us took one class of anatomy growing up in science. That's not enough. That's not enough to really understand. The more I learned about myself, not Chris, not my name, the mechanics of myself, my energy, my nervous system, my digestive system, how my skin functions, why do I sweat, what happens when I breathe, what are my cells doing? It's not rocket science. You don't need to go to school for 4 years. I thought that. I literally thought I wanted to be a nutritionist growing up, but I was like, 4 years of school, or 2 years of school, I don't know. I learned a lot in 2 months of reading. I learned a lot in 2 weeks of listening to podcasts. I learned a lot in 2 hours of questioning 10 things. You can too. Take your power back. And as you learn this stuff about you, the answers are right there. So I hope this little flow helped you guys. Just wanted to elaborate and touch on some holistic healing, what I've been practicing and implementing. My number one go-to thing is obviously water. Just again, to wrap this up, is you are 75% water. Your brain is 85% water. Your blood is 90% water. Your lungs and your kidneys are over 80% water. Your muscles and your heart are 75% water. Your eyes are 95% water. I'm sorry. The number one thing, aside from deep breathing, which is that God-given life force, water is the key. Water's the key. Nutrition is great, but there's people who live off the breath, right? Their nutrition is amazing, but there are people who fast religiously or want to clean out their system. Nutrition is so important. Yes, it is so important. But in order to digest that nutrition, what happens if you're dehydrated? Are you going to digest all those amazing plant-based foods, right? What if you're trying to build muscle or lose fat, but yet you're dehydrated? How are you going to break down those metabolites? How are you going to eliminate the waste in your lymphatic system when your lymphatic system 90% water? How are you going to think properly to stay consistent with taking your power back if your brain is thirsty and the neurotransmitters cannot fire if we are dehydrated? Because most water, almost all water, except a very, very select, maybe few or one, can actually penetrate the blood-brain barrier. Your brain is thirsty. If you're having trouble kind of comprehending some of this information, or, maybe getting stuck, a lot of times this matrix that we live in right now is designed to keep you dehydrated. Plain and simple. Tell me how it's not. Tired of going to work? Well, wake up, drink coffee, dehydrating. Going to work, sitting at a desk, sitting around EMFs, it's dehydrating. Going home, miserable and watching Netflix, that's dehydrating you. Your water, you lose 2 liters of water per day, guys. 2 liters of water per day you are losing simply by just existing. You're just existing. If you were to sit in a chair all day, you would have lost 2 liters of water. Just to keep even, you would need 2 liters of water a day, just to keep even. But over time, Ooh, the skin starts to get a little wrinkly. Ooh, my digestion slows down. Ooh, I can't get this weight off. Ooh, I get more irritable. Oh, my lymphatic is getting sluggish. Oh, I kept getting the colds. We are just simply dehydrated at the cellular level. And that's a whole nother conversation that I could talk about for 10 hours because it is truly, truly mind-blowing stuff. Really is, right? What I think someone asked, what podcasts do I listen to? There's a lot of them. I wouldn't say too many certain podcasts. I'm more of a book guy. I like reading instead of listening. Nothing wrong with listening, but if I had to recommend one thing, it would be the Miracle Detox Source book and the Miraculous Properties of Ionized Water. Those two books changed my life forever. That's a wrap. That's a wrap for me. You would have to get some of the highest leading nutritionists, hydration specialists, doctors, holistic healers to sit with me and tell me otherwise, because it's just I always say this: when you wake up to water, you wake up to yourself. When you learn about water, you learn about yourself. Because why? You are water. Anytime you hear the word water, take out the word, put your name. That's what you are. It's what you are, plain and simple. Plain and simple, that's what you are. But podcasts or audiobooks, I'm a big fan of quantum physics and quantum healing with Bruce Lipton, Dr. Joe Dispenza, for example. I know my brother Scott on here dropping some gems. Here's the book, The Miracle Detox Source Book. The Miraculous Properties of Ionized Water. You read those two books for water and for food, you're going to change your life so fast, and you're going to know how to take your power back immediately. It absolutely, I've read both hundreds of times. It's absolutely amazing, and it's mind-blowing stuff. But again, it all comes back to you. It all comes back to you. So I know I can keep going and going on these lives. I can just keep dropping stuff that I've learned, that I've embodied. Remember, I don't share anything until I do it. I wouldn't tell you these books to read if I didn't read them. I wouldn't tell you some things that could work for you if it didn't work for me. Does it work for everybody? I have no idea. But I do know this: everybody is 75% water, and everybody has a lymphatic system, and everybody has blood, right? I go to the root. Everybody has trillions of cells, so why not go there? Why not go there, connect those dots, and then see what happens? Because when you get that symphony going, and you get that balance, and you get that homeostasis, and you're cleaning the system, you're detoxing, you're alkalizing, you're hydrating, and you're electrifying. Those are my core 4 pillars. Detox, clean the system, take out your trash, right? Alkalize, eliminate the acids and the inflammation and the waste and the parasites and the heavy metals, right? Hydrate at the cellular level, refill your tank. And when you refill that tank with God-given intelligence and that empowerment and this energy that's coming in, boom. You're an electric being in an electric universe, and so it is. All right, guys, have an amazing day. I'll see you on the next live. Keep flowing, hydrated, speak your truth. The world's waiting to hear from you. Much love.